Hello, welcome to Three Furlongs Out on the Line. Tonight we're joined by a fantastic Irish jockey, and all know him very well, Chris Hayes. How are you, Chris?
I'm very good, Aaron. And yourself?
Oh yes, we're doing well. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll get straight into the questions, Chris. How did you get interested in racing?
I suppose I got interested in it through pony racing. My dad brought me to see my uncle's ponies racing in Dingle. I think it was 6 or 7 at the time, and I kind of got bitten by the bug then once I saw all the young kids flying around in their ponies. I immediately wanted one of my own, and it kind of took off from there.
Yeah, and was it always a case of you wanting to be a jockey from then onwards, or was there any other career paths that interested you?
Yeah, look, I think at the start it was just a case of I wanted a pony and I wanted to go pony racing, and the older I got, the more I realised that this was something I could do if I kept at it. And career guidance teacher gave a leaflet for race, and that kind of set the ball in motion then to try and convince my parents to let me up to race and go to Kildare and try and make some career out of it.
That's brilliant. This season is obviously not the same as any other season for obvious reasons with the virus and all, but what would be your plans for the season when it gets going?
Look, I got off to a flyer the first meeting, 2 winners and 3 rides, so I was over the moon. I was hoping things could the season could keep going, but look, for obvious reasons it couldn't. Just raring to get back now. 2 weeks tomorrow, so look, try and get a clear run at the season, because we've missed a chunk of it. It's going to be put to the floor for the next couple of months, so just to stay injury free and try and get suspension free as well, and try and get as many rides and as winners as we can on the board. Look, I've said in previous interviews, at some stage in my career I'd love to be a champion jockey, but for the minute that seems a little bit out of reach, but we'll keep giving it a go.
Well, what I'm saying, at the minute you're challenging for champion jockey with a 2. You're probably top of the pops at the minute, aren't you?
Yeah, it's the longest I've ever been in front in a championship since my apprentice days.
I think this is null and void the season. Just give you the champion trophy now, to be quite honest. What do you reckon?
Exactly, yeah. Call it off there and we'll start again next year.
That'll happen. What was your most memorable winner so far?
I suppose the most memorable would be La Colina winning the Matron Stakes in Leopardstown. First Group 1 was for the boss. Yeah, it just was fairy tale stuff. Got a lovely run around, quickened up, hit the front at the right time, and yeah, it was great to get the Group 1 duck off my back. So I'd have to say that'd be my probably my most memorable winner.
Yeah, and you went very close in the Epsom Derby there last year. It must have really got things going to go at it again. You were a couple of strides I thought you were going to get up. What way was it feeling in the saddle?
Yeah, I thought coming inside the furlong pole that we had it. I knew he wasn't going to give up. He's very genuine, and he was tenacious. You know, he really stuck his head out in battle. And look, on another day, he might have won it if I didn't have the challenge up the middle of the track and Shamey came beside me. And look, there's all different variables, but he went down all guns blazing. And look, for that split second, I thought I was going to win it, but hopefully we'll get another crack at it at some stage.
Yeah, it was very unlucky. The way that the race panned out, there was near enough 3 different races happening coming to the end there. You wouldn't know a word to luck with a challenger. Like, same as Beggy came flying from the clouds. But out of all of them, you wouldn't have thought the eventual winner was the winner. Both when you were riding with it.
Exactly, yeah. Look, I actually eased off Shamey Heffernan and Teals coming into Tattenham Corner, because I didn't think he was going well enough.
No.
And it's probably the mistake I made. I probably should have stayed where I was and took the chance. Because when I eased out, my guy got a little bit unbalanced and kind of skipped out over the road and stumbled. And it just kind of set the two of us racing from a long way out. Look, I had to keep forcing into the gaps that were coming my way, and like I said, I got racing too far out, but I still thought inside the furlong pole that we were going to hold on. But the way it transpired, and the gaps opened up at the right time for Shamey, and look, it was Shamey's day. He said to me afterwards that he hasn't got many opportunities left for it, but I'd say he'll have a few more than I will anyway.
You'd be surprised. I say, like, the Derby, it's always going to be a very hard race. And suppose when you get so close to win it, it's bittersweet. Suppose before the race started, to finish where you finished, you would have been delighted with that there. But to be within grasp, I suppose you would think to yourself, I could have got it. But as you say, there's always different angles of looking at it, isn't there?
Oh, look, there's like you said, there was different. It felt like there was different races going on at different stages. Like the atmosphere and the crowd. My horse got a little bit lit up at me on the way down, so I had to change tact and change plan, and I opted to drop him in and take a chance down the fence. And like I said, my only regret throughout that race was not staying behind Shamey for longer. I didn't think he was travelling. He looked like his body language suggested he wasn't acting on the track, and the last thing I wanted was for him to drag me out further back, because I didn't initially plan to be as far back as I was, but I kind of had to ride it as I found it. And look, it's the only regret I have. If I had stayed behind Shamey around until we came into the straight, who's to know? I wouldn't have jumped the road and got unbalanced, and I could have won it. But then again, Wayne Lorden, he was unlucky. He dropped his stick on Japan inside the furlong pole, and he was only 2 short heads behind me. So if he didn't drop his stick, would he have won? You know, there's different angles and different ways of looking at it.
In hindsight, it's a great thing. Like, if you sat and waited behind Shamey too long and Shamey got first run in the field, it could have worked in either way. I don't think the race worked the way it is, but you could have ran that race 3 times over, and I think you could have got 3 different winners. It was that open the race.
Oh, exactly. And look, the first thing the boss and I presume the team in Chadwell would have said to me was, why were you so far back, and why did you keep waiting behind Shamey? If he had dragged me out of the race. But it is a big regret, and hopefully I'll be able to rectify it at some stage.
Yeah. Who was your biggest racing idol growing up?
I think when I first started racing, Johnny Murta was kind of the guy he was kind of my hero when I was growing up, when I was pony racing, and I remember him winning the Derby, and I went out and tacked up my pony and went around the gallop, and I was doing the commentary that I was winning the Derby, you know. So like he would have been, but when I started racing, then I was kind of in awe of Mick Kinane. You know, when you go into the weigh room, I just loved the way he conducted himself. You wouldn't even know he was in the weigh room, and then he could go out and ride Group 1 winners, Group 2 winners, Classic winners, and he'd walk back in as if it was a maiden down the country, you know. Yes. I just loved how cool and calm he was, and I loved the way that he was just so professional. That's not to say that Johnny wasn't, but there
were 2 different types of jockeys altogether, weren't there, I suppose?
Yeah, exactly.
They rode the same game, but they were different altogether, weren't they?
Yeah, two really different characters, but I don't know, I just was really in awe of Mick when I started riding against him and was in the weigh room and was able to see it. You know, like Johnny was a little bit more vocal and a little bit more flamboyant, and that's the way he rode, and that was his personality. And Mick's way of doing things was just something that I admired, and it was kind of what I wanted to be like. You know, I thought he conducted himself brilliantly. Nobody ever said boo to him, or you know, he was just the ultimate professional.
Yes. And what would you say is your biggest struggle of being a jockey? What daily struggle?
Well, look, I'm very lucky. My weight is quite good. I think my biggest struggle is getting on good horses and trying to keep on them, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Like, it's very competitive in Ireland. We have some fantastic riders, world-class riders. you in a normal sense, you'd think Donegal retiring would make it easier, but there was 5 lads snapping at his heels in the top 5, and then you've Holland, Declan McDonough, Shane Foley had his career best last year, Billy Lee, Wayne Lorden, like the list is endless. So I think the biggest struggle that any rider in Ireland has is trying to get on good horses and to keep on them, because there's always someone snapping at your heels, and there's always a good rider in the weigh room. Like I always thought when I get suspended, oh, what are they going to do? Will they run? Won't they run? But there's plenty of riders in the weigh room that can just put on
life goes on, doesn't it?
Exactly. They can put on the boots and do as good a job, if not better.
Yeah, but what I always think, Colin Keane got champion jockey and he didn't have a massive stable behind him. So now at the minute, I would imagine that the Irish champion jockey title is more open than ever, because there's the challengers are obviously they're all very competitive, but there's no standout. I don't think there's anyone now that you could say the top 5 they're all in with a fantastic shout. Now there's going to be no standout for a couple of seasons anyway.
Yeah, I think this year it'll be a very strange year. With the travel restrictions and everything, it'll be interesting to see what will happen in Ballydoyle. Will Jamie ride the majority of them here? Will Wayne ride the majority of them here? One of them would have to be high on your list. I think Declan McDonough has a great opportunity in Joseph. It was a very shrewd move, I think, on his behalf to start riding out there. He's getting some fantastic opportunities, so he'd obviously have to have a chance. And Shane Foley's year last year, like Jessica Harrington, just was going from strength to strength. I still wouldn't know. Colin is favoured, and he's favoured for a reason. He's a brilliant rider, and there's a fantastic trainer. They're well able to produce him at every level, from flamers to Group 1. So whoever wins an Irish Championship deserves it, because it's hard fought, and like I said, there's plenty good riders in the weigh room, and like you were after touching on there, any of the top 5 riders are good enough to be a champion jockey, in my opinion.
Well, as you say, you're always trying to get it. So this season there'll be no different. You'll still give it your best shot, and you suppose you have to go into this start of the year thinking to yourself that you're going to challenge for it. You can't. You always have to push forward, and there's no reason why you can't. It's all it takes is one handicapper to start progressing, and that'll get you further up the line. And other trainers, as I said to Ross Coakley yesterday, you have so many good runs and bad runs. Obviously, the good runs, you feel more confident, and it's vice versa. When you're riding with confidence, you're getting more rides, isn't it? That's the case, isn't it?
Exactly, yeah. Look, my view on it, the numbers that I have theoretically aren't strong enough to challenge for a championship. If you're being realistic in calling a spade, the boss Kevin Prendergast has 40 odd horses, which probably isn't a big enough number behind me. I've Fozzie Stack then, who would have, I'd imagine, 70 odd horses. So you're talking 110 horses. I don't know what Jerry's numbers, but I'd imagine he'd have more than that in 1 yard. Jessica Harrington would definitely have more than that. Joseph O'Brien definitely has more than that. So straight away, numbers wise, I'm up against it. But the advantage I have is I have no weight problems, so I can do any weight. So it's pros and cons. And another way of looking at it then is if you don't have the high numbers, you don't have the commitment, so you're a little bit freer. But then it's so competitive that any the top 5 riders, if they get free, there could be 5 or 8 of us ringing for the one ride, and it's just, in my opinion, it's pot luck if you get on it. Like, I have a very good agent who got me on a lot of good rides in the last couple of seasons. But if you're lucky enough to get on the right one and keep it rolling, like I always seem to set off with a flyer. I think I was in front in the championship last year, heading towards Guineas weekend, and that was it then. Like, I was 4th, 5th for the rest of the season. But look, I was still happy numbers wise with the number I got last year, and it was the best winners wise. I had a classic winner and Group 2 winners, and financially it was the best year as well. But I'd still love to win a championship. I give it a fair rattle every year. I always set out and try and ride as many winners as I can. But you can't think of a championship until around Galway time, because there's that much racing there and whatever. You won't know where you're standing or where anyone else is standing, but it is a goal of mine, and at some stage I'd like to do it before I retire. Just once will do it for me.
That's possible. Another thing, I always look at the English Championship title, like Sylvester de Souza and all them jockeys. They hit the title, but the next year it seemed to be more going for quality over quantity, and that's what I think with champion jockey. It brings it sort of lose your title once you get the title. They get more high profile rides, and the way your rides it got you where you are. You don't go for that. That's another thing. I always think over here it's not as much. Probably in England there's more because there's more racing. Over here it's probably a different ball game altogether.
Yeah, you could get burnt out a lot easier over in England. Mind you, I think we're going to have a kind of a look into what that's going to be like, because we're going to be busy for the next 2 months. Touch wood, everything goes to plan, and there's no surge in COVID again. So, like, we're going to be pretty hectic, and it's going to be helter skelter for the next 6 or 8 weeks, just to try and make up for lost time. So we're going to be racing every day, which is something we weren't used to. But I don't think, like, the riders over here, just because the opportunities aren't like, we're not as busy as the English riders in a normal year. It doesn't matter whether it's a claimer in Wexford or a Group 1 in the Curragh. Like, you see Shamie Heffernan will be there, he'll ride it. Wayne Lorden, he'll be there, he'll ride it. It doesn't make a difference. We go wherever the racing is on and take whatever rides we can get, you know. And
it's not as over there. They're more picking and choosing. Over here, you only have the usual one meeting on, so you don't have the option of that. So that's a big difference. But would you ever think of moving to England? Would that ever be on your radar?
It crossed my mind in 2011. I got a job opportunity over there. Things were quiet here at the time. I went over on a trial for 4 days. I liked it, but I kind of felt like I'd unfinished business here. I was just, my lady, the contract I had with Lady O'Reilly wasn't after being renewed, and I just felt like I'd unfinished business here, and I wanted to give it one last rattle. And I actually said that if it didn't work for me, I would go the following year. And thankfully, 2011 was a slow year. I think I'd only 22 winners, but the following year I think I had 40 or 50 winners. So I was vindicated in my decision. And the year after, I got the job with Kevin Prendergast. Declan went to the Aga Khan and John Ox, and it kind of just took off from me there. I had the Group 1 winner that year, and then Autad landed in 2016, and Mad Moon landed last year. So if I can find another one of those, I'd be more than happy.
At this stage of the season, there's no bubbles busted as such, so there's anything to play for. I suppose it's an exciting time as well when you're going the yard riding out unraced horses, and they're all, anything can happen. There could be anything this stage, couldn't it?
Yeah, look, as you said, no bubbles have been burst. It'll be good to be getting them racing, because you can be getting real good fields off them in the morning, but like, you don't know how well they're going or at what level. Like, I'm in Kevin's 3 mornings a week, and I'm in Fozzie's 2 mornings, so you don't know at what level or what stage they're at until they run, and you soon get put in your place, and you kind of find out, and you're able to get a level of where the rest of the 2-year-olds are at. So that's what I'm really looking forward to, because I think we have a nice bunch of 2-year-olds in both yards. Fozzie seems to have a couple of nice 3-year-olds there as well. Kevin has a handful of 3-year-olds. Mad Moon stays in training. So when you write them all down on paper and look at them in black and white, I have nice horses to ride. 2-year-olds are exciting at the minute, but I presume if you ask any jockey, they're telling you their 2-year-olds will be exciting as well.
Nobody knows at the minute. That's all up in the air with them. Like, as you said, 2-year-olds, they're really put in their place for them sort of races. You're not racing. You don't know what you're racing against at the minute, do you? Like until you get going proper.
They're all at home at the minute, you see, and they haven't got the pressure of going racing and jumping out of stalls, and temperament and their mental attitude is a lot of it as well. So if they can't handle it, that's what separates the good ones from the very good ones, and sometimes it separates the real bad ones as well, that they're not able to live up to it when the button is pushed or the screw is turned. But look, at the minute it looks positive, and like I said, a couple of 2-year-olds there that you'd be hopeful of are nice.
Yeah. Could you give us 2 horses to follow for the season? 2 horses you're really looking forward to for the rest of the year?
2 horses I'm looking forward to. There's a filly in Fozzie Stacks back to Brussels. I won a maiden on her in Navan last year, and she ran some good races in the interim. She was a big rangy filly that I think Fozzie just gave time till she started growing, and he let her off. She looks like physically she's done well, and she looks like she could be a nice filly to keep an eye on. And I've sat on a couple of odd-head fillies and colts for different trainers, and I'd be keeping an eye out on his runners for the first couple of weeks. They look like a nice type, and they have nice attitude.
Yes.
So I'd be hopeful that he could make a nice stallion.
Well, that's good. Thank you very much for your time, Chris. And I hope as you say, we might null and void the season now, make you champion jockey now. I think let's put that to HR tomorrow. I'm going to put a 50-page proposal plan to HRI tomorrow. And then
I'll sign it with you.
We'll sign it.